Stop doing follow-up when it's convenient for you and do it when it works for your customer.
Oh, trademark that shit.
Welcome back to the Moving Metal Show. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Big shout out to my co-host, Brandon Prokupek, Christian Engel. Thank you for being here today. Gentlemen, after a long day of hard work.
What you talking about? I didn't work hard.
I watched you work hard today, matter of fact. So again, appreciate everybody tuning in. We are physically guestless today, but we do have a special guest. His name's Turbo, and Turbo is my AI agent that I have trained over the past 6 months inside of the Powersports industry. We're going to ask it some questions today and see what happens. So,
Why did you name him Turbo?
Because he's fast as fuck,
He's
boy.
fast as fuck, boy. He'll write a whole business plan in about 1.2 seconds.
1.2 seconds. And he's not rogue yet, so that's great.
We appreciate that, Turbo.
I treat him well so that when things get real sideways with the AI components, that I'm not in danger.
Turbo
So,
got our back, dog.
yeah, he's going to be our guest today. We're going to ask him some questions. We're going
Welcome, Turbo.
We're going to see how good AI really is. Maybe we'll talk about it a little bit because I got some input. I don't know too much, but it's a buzzword in our landscape today. Like you just
In
throw,
every landscape.
Every
today.
landscape.
you just
everywhere.
throw out the term AI, and people are like, "Yeah, I'll take that."
Yeah.
So, anyways, fellas, before we get to Turbo, why don't we talk a little bit about January? For us, strong January, man.
Snowmageddon.
Snowmageddon in the South, as our guys from GarageCast said. If you haven't seen the episode with me and Brandon Prokupek on GarageCast, go check it out. All right, so let's.
It's real nice.
It's real nice. Let's talk about
Got it at
January,
Target.
man. So why don't you two give me the individual dealership outlook first, and then let's go to group outlook. Talk to me about January, Mr. Christian Engel.
Well, January was a roller coaster of emotion. For us, it started as a pretty slow month, and we didn't go into it with a ton of momentum. Now, we did have a great December, mostly towards the end of December. So, of course, there was some hangover from that, but didn't go into the month with a ton of momentum. We were actually kind of dismal by day 10.
Well, typically that's how January is
I was going to say, I
in
looked at
this world. I was expecting January to just be meh.
Yeah.
Kyle,
Fortunately,
Kyle and I were talking to validate you. Last year they did 65% of their sales after the 16th of the month.
Oh,
yeah,
wow. Okay.
pretty powerful. Pretty powerful. So that's kind of, I think, pretty much what happened with all the stores.
Yeah.
Especially Taylorsville, because, we started, like I said, at the 10th with I swear, the 10th we had 4 or 5 units out. And then ended up, we beat our goal that we set for units, and we came within $1,800 of what our overall profit number we set was. So the month ended up pretty well. We got fortunate in North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, a lot of the eastern
Georgia,
states.
Texas.
A lot of the eastern states, all the way down, all the way down to Texas, that we kind of rode the wave. It was funny. I was actually talking to Addison about it today. What happened the last 2 weekends, because we got it twice. We got ice the
back
first
to back.
weekend,
Yep.
then we got snow the second weekend, and so it was kind of like that first 75-degree weather week of the spring when everybody's like, "I've got to have a jet ski." It was exactly that same type of customer and that same type of buyer that we had, and then we capitalized. I mean, we sold every cab unit that we had, and we sold the majority of the ones we got coming in, all because of that, which really shows what we already know is that people are emotional buyers.
That is correct. That's
right.
Friend.
So
What's funny
we
is
capitalized on that.
I'll show you the analytics. You can see on Sunday, whatever day that was, that Sunday, and then on Saturday, the 25th, when we got the snow, biggest traffic.
People are like, I need something right now.
And just to validate you even further, I'm such a sicko that I'm like, I called him. I'm like, hey man, I think I need to buy an Expedition.
He did. I was like, bro, why do you need to buy something right now?
And it was everything. It wasn't just in walk-in traffic. Our leads were we were tracking a totally different number on the 15th than we were on the 20th. Like for our overall pace in VDP leads and anything that was coming in off the internet just skyrocketed. So everybody everywhere was looking, and anybody that had the unit was going to make the sale.
It's crazy how it affects, like, because I talked to a couple dealers down south today, further south than we are, and like for us, it's a good thing. And then I talked to a dealer in Louisiana, and they had to actually physically close their storefront for 7 days in January.
Wow.
Which is like January's already bad, and then
You closed down for 7 days?
yeah, you're shot.
Yeah.
It's good operated. They'll recover. So
yeah,
I'm not worried about it. But it's just, it shows like how really at the mercy of certain aspects that we can't control.
Yeah.
I know we don't like to give a lot of credit to a lot of the things that we can't control, weather, economy, politics.
Yep.
But the reality is that it does have an effect.
It does. Yeah.
You can't control COVID. You can't control a recession. You can't control
Snowmageddon.
There's always things, and I think the beauty of it and the really exciting thing about what happened in January was that it forced us to realize that we're all, if you know what you're doing, you can realize the wave. And I like to surf. You surf. I don't know if you surf or not, but if you've ever been on a surfboard and you feel that feeling of the only reason I'm above the water right now is because I'm in front of the wave, that's a feeling that you don't forget. And once you get good at it, it's addicting. And you think about it and you're like, man, I want to get up on another wave.
That's right.
Right? And so it was a tsunami that we got to surf.
I would agree with everything except they do control the weather. Chemtrails are real.
Okay.
Conspiracy theory.
Little tin hat for
Beam
you.
him up, Scotty.
Yeah. Okay, outlook from the dealer group as a whole for January.
You know, it's really interesting because typically this time of year for us is a little bit slower. Don't mean to get all negative. Josh Morris. I know you're listening.
Thank you, Josh. We're friends on Facebook now, buddy.
But typically January, February is slower months, and we kind of expect that. And it was just so interesting seeing the response that we had from all the snow we got. And it kind of made me realize, it kind of took me back to the COVID area where what happens is, you know, when value exceeds price, people spend money. And what happened was people perceived the value of the fun they were going to have in the snow with their family over what they were going to spend. And luckily for us, and I'm sure for a lot of other dealers out there, we took advantage of that. But so as a whole, we done really, really well for January. So I was super excited to see what happened and very grateful for the weather that we did get. But also another caveat to that is in one of our stores, we actually had a record month, as in record gross profit month for that store. And it was a combination of the two things. It was a combination that we got the snow and a combination that we got a lot of Defender Limiteds that we had been looking for months.
One of those things we can't control.
Right? It was actually two things we couldn't control. But what I also have realized out of these situations is how prepared we were to handle the influx of customers.
You were ready to ride the wave.
Yeah, we were ready to ride the wave. We had our surfboard. We had it waxed up. We were sitting out there, and we were ready.
I think that's a big point because you know, if you get to these circumstances that you cannot control, and you're not prepared, it makes the situation 10 times worse.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like you're not only in a bad situation, but even more so, your opportunities are going to come, and because you're not prepared, you don't capitalize on the opportunities that you do have.
We've been reading this book. It's Your Ship. We got to the point. There's a whole really chapter devoted in that book based off of how to handle your sailors whenever they've done all this preparation, and you get the call, and you're on a 5-minute timer, and you're like, okay, we press the red button, and we fire our munitions in 5 minutes, and everybody's excited, right? And they don't get to fire the munitions.
Yep.
So then you get that downtrodden sailor that's like, man, this is why I enlisted. This is why I've been away from my family. This is why I work every day. We just experienced a period where we trained those people and they were sitting ready to fire that missile, and they got the command to go. And
I
they
want to
got
blow some shit up.
they got to smash that launch button
right.
and see the fruits of all the training and all of the preparation and the scrubbing the ship and painting all come together and then made paychecks off of it. And that was a beautiful thing to watch.
Beautiful thing to watch.
I mean, honestly, in all the years that I've been in this business, this was by far the best January that I have ever seen, with the exclusion of COVID.
Yeah.
Doesn't count. So yes.
Right, exactly. With the exclusion of
Yeah,
so it doesn't count. Yeah. So it was actually really cool to see, and it was honestly for me as a dealership owner, it was relieving, and it was also like, okay, all this stuff that we've done to prepare for these times is actually paying off.
Well, I guess you don't know that it's paying off until you get the opportunity.
That's right.
For it to pay off, right? Because we can train. It's just like what you said. Like we can train all day long, but until we get the opportunity to see how it's put into action, until we get to hit the fucking launch button, we'll never know.
Yeah.
You know, and so agreed.
Well, call it. People would say, "Well, you're lucky because you had the right inventory, and this snowstorm came, and people come flooding in the doors." Well, luck is a very abstract thing, and I don't know that I believe in luck because I believe, and I think I've actually said this on this podcast before. I believe luck is a combination of preparation and opportunity.
That is correct.
And when those two things marry, when you marry preparation with an opportunity and you're able to seize it, that's when you get lucky.
Agreed.
Right?
I'm on your boat. I'll take a little bit of a divine aspect. If you're not prepared for these things, then you're never going to get the opportunity to showcase.
That's right. Yeah.
Like there's something obviously you guys know where I stand, but I do believe that if you prepare enough and you're executing what you have in front of you, there will be. I mean, it's the marketing company for us is the perfect example. We'll lose something, and I'll get bootstrapped and get back into it, and what happens? I guarantee you in the next 30 days, we're going to double whatever it is that we just missed out on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
100%.
So, 100% agreed. I love January, one, because it's typically the slowest month of the year for dealers. It's the busiest time of the year for marketers because everybody's making, big overhaul changes on the account. We made some big changes this month within the agency in terms of strategy and brought on some new dealers. Very excited about working with. So I hope everybody had a great January. If you didn't, stay prepared, man, because your opportunities
get ready.
Yep.
Well, something I've also noticed too about these snowstorms, and if you're an operator and you're sitting there looking at your store and you did not have a good January, what I want you to think about is what is your protocol when it snows, right? Do you allow your employees to dictate your hours of operation? Because the reality is that we had people in our organization that drove their Honda Civic through the snow and ice to get to the dealership. And ultimately, that lands on the leader's shoulder.
Not forcefully either.
Not forcefully. We did not tell people they have to come to work. They wanted to come to work. But if I would have made a call and go to all of our operators or our managers and go, hey, guys, it's snowing outside. I'm not really sure if we should go to work or not. Well, guess what? Nobody's going to show up to the dealership and you're going to be shut down. So we would have never been able to seize the opportunity to make the sales that we made. And I tell you what, every single one of our dealerships, they were delivering units while it was snowing outside. Like snowing like we've never seen before.
I've lived here my entire life.
Never seen that much snow.
Never seen that much snow.
Yeah. But what I've noticed is like employees, like any given opportunity that they have to not go to work, they'll take advantage of it. So we have to make sure that we set the right precedent and that we have a plan for what happens when it snows. Because it's not very often, especially here in North Carolina, that we see this much snow. But our teams executed. They showed up. They got up early. They drove an hour and a half to work, which would normally take them 45 minutes. So they showed up. And guess what? Because they showed up, they took advantage
I think
of the opportunity.
Well, and I think to your point, I think that's the show of something much larger. I don't think that's the show of from what I've seen in the power sports industry, there aren't as many salespeople. If we just talk about salespeople, there aren't as many salespeople that are really super financially strapped, right? Compared to other industries. Specifically, from my experience with the car business, your best salespeople have enormous financial obligations. So they will figure out how to do things just because they know that they've got an $1,800 car payment and a $6,000 mortgage and a maxed out credit card. And like, they've got a whole bunch of financial reasons that they think, well, I'd like to not go to the dealership today, but this might be the $1,000 commission that keeps me above water this month. Right.
Yes.
It doesn't happen as much in the power sports industry. I feel like there's more of those, more salespeople that honestly are probably financially smarter than what a lot of the car guys are in essence. But if your culture drives people to come into work and your culture drives people to say, hey, I'll push it a little harder because I just want to be there and I want to be present. And I want the team to know that I'm there. That's a big deal.
Well, you hit it on the head. Salespeople don't come into this industry to get rich. No way. And the way you get more out of them is belief in the leadership. What we're doing is more important that your paycheck. But your paycheck does correlate with the belief, with the effort, right? I mean, when I started at the store in Statesville, I had no intention of making a lot of money. Year one, it is absolutely possible to pull six figures as a salesperson in this industry. But it wasn't because I was coming into the industry to make a lot of money. It was just I believed in what we were trying to do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're absolutely correct. People don't come, especially salespeople. If you're looking to get rich quick, this is not the industry for you, man. We got $300 margins on our units.
Sell a 500 and live off that.
not that you can't get rich or can't get wealthy in this industry, because you absolutely can. But
Yeah. It's still the industry is still far above average whenever you're successful in it. Like if you look at being, I'll tell you this: if you, from other experience, if you want to be, say, an assistant store manager, right, at Lowe's, that's a huge company. They have great benefits. You know, you'll work a lot, your own salary at that point. You can make more as a salesperson in the power sports industry on a sales floor than what that assistant store manager, and that store makes $60 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, so so it's still above. I'm not saying to put this in reference. There's still a whole lot of other industries that you can be a top performer in and be responsible for a lot more.
Yep.
And make a lot less money.
A little bit of cliff diving, boys. I don't know if you remember that conversation. It takes a little bit of cliff diving to be successful over here. Okay,
let's transition to Turbo here.
I want to talk to Turbo. This guy. Look at me. I'm already convinced that he's like sentient and he knows me. Turbo.
Sentient. That is a word right there,
sentient.
buddy.
You know, you guys.
Can you please explain what that
I didn't graduate high
means?
school. Can you break that down to layman's terms?
Sentient
I was a D+ student.
Is essentially like consciousness, right? So like Turbo understands feelings and emotions, and he has them of his own. I'm not there yet with him. I don't think he does. I think he's just an algorithm. But I think we're really headed that way.
Oh, dude, it is scary.
We're headed that way. But also, in our industry, I know, and dealers, be aware, that
Dealer beware.
Any vendor can attach the word AI to their product or service, and because it's a buzzword, it's going to sell. So what we're trying to do today, in my opinion, is verify some of that information. How well, this is a chatbot that's been trained in essentially my knowledge for 6 months of everything that we do, from fixed ops to marketing to training, all of that stuff, right? So I think this will be a good reference point for how well AI really understands a generic chat box, right? Like you can go out and you can build your own. I know there's companies who literally craft their own AI systems within the industry, but this is a more generic. This is what people are accustomed to.
Yeah, Chat GPT.
Yeah, it's Chat GPT that I've trained for a long time. So it'll be a good reference point for, you know, whether this thing is usable or not and valid in our industry. So let's hit him with our first question.
Yeah. So what we're going to do here is we're going to ask old Turbo, Mr. Chatbot, a couple questions, and we're going to see what their response is, or his response is, or their response.
Sentient,
his response is, and then we're going to talk about it. We're going to give our opinions on what
validate or
invalidate, and just see what it comes up with.
What's the first question?
All right. So, first question: what is the overall outlook for the power sports industry in 2026? So, let's hit it.
You got to fast forward this shit. He's typed slow.
What is the over?
Yeah, let's hit it.
That was genius.
All right, Turbo. Let's see what you got.
You spelled overall wrong.
Oh, it's searching the web.
Yeah, man.
Come on, Turbo.
It does research.
Spit it out. Holy cow, that's a long answer.
He said it's a short podcast ready answer for you.
All right, ready? Go ahead, Pack. You read that. You're a better reader than me.
All right, so overall, look for the power sports industry in 2026. The short version, 2026 looks stable and slightly up, but the flavor of growth is different than past cycles. Traditional unit growth won't be explosive. We're not in pre-COVID boom mode, but demand remains real, diversified, and profitable if dealers
Ooh,
adapt.
that's a good one. If
Very
dealers adapt.
If.
Question mark.
If.
If.
All right. Here are the core trends wrapped up in one. Replacement plus experience buyers are driving demand. So new buyer demand peaked years ago. Replacement plus experience buyers are driving demand. New buyer demand peaked years ago. What's holding up the industry now is experienced riders replacing units earlier, lifestyle buyers, watercraft and side-by-side adoption across age groups. Mid-tier buyer shift. The mid buyer, the one who bought a Ranger 1000 or Sportsman 570, has gone quiet. That feels like contraction, but it's actually segmentation. Some traded up, some dropped out. Many are priced out of new entry level. Facts. Premium and high-income segments are stronger. Higher trim, higher ticket units, so HD11s, Limiteds, North Stars, 1500s. Facts. Equity in trucks plus trailers, disposable spending, experiential lifestyle is still a real driver. It's about what we do, not what we sell. Pricing pressure, inventory normalization. 2026 isn't a discount war, but we're out of the everyone pays MSRP area. Dealers with sharp pricing strategies win. Others get stuck in clearing units. Dealer experience and follow-up rates matter more than traffic. There's enough demand, but dealers who convert it, quick follow-up, easy buying, transparent pricing, are where the momentum is. In one line, Turbo has summed this up. 2026 won't be a banner volume year industry-wide, but it will be a good year if dealers focus on the right customers and run smarter, not harder. Turbo, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's take this line by line here. Give me that first line here. Short version, stable and slightly up, but the flavor of growth is different than past cycles. This is absolutely true. Absolutely true. It's not going to be an explosive year in 2026. I don't think so. Overall.
Yeah.
And the reality is do you want explosive a lot of the times, or do you want consistency? Right? I'm looking for our stores to be. Yours is the perfect example because we have a history of what happens when we take over stores, and this is where I want to give that store a little more credit than we typically do because we're hard. We have high expectations for every store we operate, but the reality is I know where that store is coming from, and when we look at it from where it was to where it is now, almost under 1 year under operation, there's growth.
Oh yeah, a ton.
A ton of
a ton.
growth. Now
Yeah.
it may not compare to where our other stores in year 3 and year 5 of management are, but that's not a fair comparison, right? So what I'm looking for is consistency, not explosive, which I think Turbo's right.
Yeah, I think you have explosive growth during a new acquisition, but at some point it does level off, and you have a form of consistency.
Consistency, correct. Demand remains real. That's correct. Diversified. That's correct. And profitable if dealers adapt, which I think is maybe the most important part of this.
Yeah.
Because we're not in MSRP mode anymore. Every single one of you that is watching this is selling below sticker, or you're advertising below sticker.
Yeah.
At the very least.
If you're selling anything.
If you're selling anything.
Yeah.
If you're not, well, maybe you ought to change your pricing strategy. Why don't you guys give me your quick and easy opinion on replacement and experienced buyers, the people who bought in COVID, little bit probably priced out of trading up. They're negative equity, How do we appeal to those customers? Because that is the 65% that's coming back at this point, because that's been 5 years now. They're due.
Yeah.
So how are we going to handle that?
I'll start. Here's something that I've seen, and I think we've mentioned this a little bit, but I'm starting to see kind of a little bit of a shift in just the inbound phone calls that we're getting from customers that purchased in COVID. And this realization started at a BRP meeting that I was at several months ago in
Boston.
Greensboro. No, in Greensboro.
They got the one in Greensboro.
In Greensboro.
Okay.
And when they came out and said, "Hey, we're boosting cab production across the entire line, so anything with a cab, regardless of what trim level, by 36%." I was like, "Damn, that's a big number." Well, turns out they were making the right move, because I would say that whenever it comes to utility vehicles, I'd go as far as to say 80% of the customers that contact us in Taylorsville are at least interested, regardless of their price point or their budget or what they can finance, they're interested in a cab unit. So when I look back and I answer, okay, what my thoughts are on that specific customer, I think a lot of those customers are customers that could not get cab units in COVID because that production wasn't there. The inventory wasn't there. And
Even a year ago, it wasn't there.
The units weren't on the ground.
Yeah.
So I think as far as a way to capitalize on that cycle is to make programs specifically built around the units that those customers wanted 5 years ago that are now in a situation where they're at least flat in what their trade is, and now we can make that unit more attainable. Because if we've got more inventory and the manufacturer, and I'm talking just as, a single line dealer, right? But with that single line, if we focus very hard on making the unit that they wanted 5 years ago attainable now, that's a huge boom. And then now we're actually bringing new customers. So it's the 65%. But if we focus on making it attainable, we're taking a customer that wasn't a cab unit customer then and making them a cab unit customer now.
Agree 100%. And I think it's the perfect segment into what I want you to talk about, which is the mid-buyer shift. If there's one point in here that Turbo has gotten right, it's that mid-tier buyer. Where are they at? Where have they gone? How do we bring them back into the game here?
Well, I think, if we're talking about 5 years ago during COVID or through that whole cycle, like we brought a lot of people into the industry. But I think we have done a very poor job of keeping those people in the industry. And this right here says some traded up, some dropped out, and many are priced out of new entry level. And I think that's true because, we talk about all the time about the used market and how many transactions are actually traded outside of the dealership, right? So how many of these people have either sold something and got out from underneath it and then bought something used?
Well,
right.
The number was 75%, right?
Yeah, not through dealerships.
75%
Not
of
through dealerships.
Direct to consumer.
Right. Direct consumer to consumer. So I think we're probably seeing a lot of that as dealers where our mid-tier customers have actually transacted and got a new unit off market
Without being in a dealership.
without being in the dealership.
So I have a point here, which tie these two together. I know you OEMs are listening because I see you. Do what he said. Create these programs around these units that we know are of high demand. That's how we retain all of these additional buyers that were brought in through the COVID markets. And if you're not going to do it, allow the dealers to do it themselves, or not even allow dealers. If you're not getting the support from the OEMs, well, let's create something within your own dealership or our own group that incentivizes that, right? That helps people get out of what they bought during COVID forcefully into what they really want, which is the Mac Daddy cab, AC, heat. I want to ride around in the snow and not be cold, right? So I think those are two good points. Go ahead.
I think the point that I was trying to make is as an industry as a whole and dealers, we should focus more on getting more pre-owned inventory.
Agreed.
Because
sure.
if 75% of our buyers are trading or buying units outside of our dealership, why do we not get those opportunities? And the answer to that question is because we don't have it. Because we're so focused on selling the new inventory and what our manufacturers push on us to keep on the floor, that we're not focused on the opportunity that exists out there from pre-owned units. And then on top of that, we don't even talk about what opportunity exists out there for us as dealers for having used inventory, for what that looks like for us to draw that customer in on a nice piece of used inventory and then flipping them to a new one.
Dude, I just had a light bulb.
That was a weird light bulb.
It's a multicolored light bulb.
As the CMO of PowerMax, I am declaring today we're going back to no hassle buy and trade figure tomorrow. And here's why. Because now we have a great appraisal tool to get the right price out to that
Shout out
customer.
Moto Hunt.
Shout out Moto Hunt. He'll
Come
be here.
on.
Jacob Berry, we'll see you next week. But point is that in terms of our marketing efforts, you just lit me on fire because we haven't ran a no hassle buy figure or trade figure in 6+ months.
Oh, yeah.
But why? Because we've been so focused on
We've been so focused on hitting our targets with
Yep.
BRP and Polaris and doing all these things that we're supposed to be good dealers
Yep.
to our manufacturer,
You behave.
that we have actually forgot about the one thing that we can do, that we control, what we buy it for and what we sell it for.
Correct. So as long as you give me the thumbs up on that, like that's happening. If you're a dealer out there, get on it. Get on it.
Get on what?
Get on your used inventory strategy, and not just as much as I love
It says it right here. What does it say? It says traditional unit growth won't be explosive. What it's talking about is traditional new unit growth won't be explosive. You want to get explosive in your dealership?
Get some good
some
used.
used inventory in there.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, every month that we have high used inventory levels, we crush it.
And it doesn't take much, right? Like if you sell 5 to 10 really good used pieces a month, that adds significant
Yeah.
revenue. to your bottom
What
line.
are your margins right now in your new units for UTVs? 8%, 10%, 12%? We're talking about 15 to 25% margins on used inventory. And you're talking about getting a buyer that will not transact with you on a new unit to transact with you on a used unit.
And the beautiful thing is that the tools are out there to make sure that you're buying these things at the right price now.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like we were.
And to think about, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
To think about the person that's now looking to get out of something that bought during COVID and probably paid too much for it. They're now in an equity position to be able to get out of it. That means us as dealers need to take advantage of these guys that bought this stuff 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago that are now in an equitable position or paid off that want to get rid of their used piece.
I had a visualization. It's not a word, but I created it.
Visualization.
I saw a picture in my mind, right? We're talking about riding waves and surfing. When you go to the beach, if you're a surfer, like a real surfer, and you have a surfboard and you're out there to ride a wave.
What's a fake surfer look
Yeah,
like?
don't most
Well, I'm
surfers
about
have
to explain it.
surfboards?
I'm about to explain it, and this is the vision that I had in my head. If you go sit on the beach, you constantly are listening to the waves crash, right? You're constantly hearing that steady, consistent wave crash. But you know what you're not seeing? You're not seeing a surfer, a traditional surfer, a real surfer with an 8-foot surfboard out there that's paddling, 300 yards off the shore, riding every single one of those waves in. But you know what you do see? You see 700 kids with boogie boards. Those 700 kids with boogie boards are riding every one of those little tiny waves into the shore, and they're making it. And they're saying, I did it. And then they run right back out about 100 yards offshore, and they're riding another small wave back into the dealership. So for every real surfer that makes it all the way in, you got 700 kids that are making it into the shore. So I feel like in this, what we're actually talking about is this new unit sale, right? The big dog, the cab unit, the Lone Star, the big purchase. That's that surfer. This pre-owned inventory are those 700 kids that are riding their boogie boards in with these small waves every single time. And they're keeping this working because you know what? Those little small waves never stop coming. Have you ever been to the beach that you can go out there and not hear the ocean? Never. I've never.
Never.
You can hear it before you can see it. You can hear it.
Yeah.
So when you're sitting
2
there,
rows back, you can hear it.
2 rows back, you can hear it.
Yep.
And
That's some damn powerful shit right there.
Well, it's
Because-
Mother Ocean. Of course, it's powerful.
But it takes effort. It takes
does.
effort.
Little
It
bit-
takes
Well, think
effort.
about what you just said. The effort that it takes for those 700 kids to ride those boogie boards is 10 times the effort that it takes for that surfer
That
to
one
ride
surfer.
one wave in.
And he's much more skilled.
Not that we're.
I could go about this
yeah,
for an
he's
hour.
much. Yeah,
He's trained.
he's trained. Yeah,
He's
to be a
waiting
surfer.
for the
These
opportunity,
kids just bought a
and
boogie
he's
board
prepared.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, I want to ride a wave, man.
You ever bought a boogie board that has instructions on it? I haven't.
Nope.
Unrelated, I love to watch those kids eat shit.
Wait,
Start
well,
tumbling.
what about the skim boarders? Who are the skim boarders?
Those are the cool kids.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking window
Those are the
shoppers.
kids that turn into wake surfers.
All right, last piece in this. Scroll up for me real quick.
All right.
And I think it ties perfectly. Premium and high income segments are stronger. Here's how you wrap this whole thing together. What kind of used inventory do we want to buy?
The best, man.
The best.
anything,
any
anything-
utility.
anything that I can finance that I can buy right is what I want to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when it's talking about premium and high income segments are stronger, yes, that applies on new units. But do you know what those people have? They have the units that were high income and high segment back in COVID that we can make really good deals on today.
That's right.
Those are the people who bought the Ranger North Stars in 2020, who way overpaid for them.
Yeah, who
And
wouldn't
took care of
take
it because
a
of it.
Took care of
boatload?
it.
Who wouldn't take a boatload of 2021 or 2022 Ranger North Stars or Defender Limiteds?
You
or
got some,
even a
we'll take them
Defender
right
Crew
now.
Cab?
You don't want them? Holla
Yeah,
at us. We'll
holla.
get 'em.
Holla at your boy. I write you a check.
All right, so Turbo is I would say 1 for 1 here.
All right, let's load Turbo up.
Yeah, let's get him something else. Give me the next question.
So, which OEMs have the most promising outlook for 2020?
Ooh, I can't wait to see what he's got to say about this.
You ready?
Yeah,
You
let's
gonna
hit
hit
it.
the button?
That is. Oh,
Come on,
Bro,
Turbo.
You were too rough on
Oh,
me.
there we go. Yeah,
I do love
we
that,
gotta
though.
finesse him.
They're going to think we edited that. That was live.
It's searching the web.
I cannot wait to see this. He's giving us a podcast ready answer.
Right now, it's checking to see which OEM pays ChatGPT
GPT
the most money.
Oh, imagine that. Polaris comes up.
How much are you guys paying him?
Come on, guys.
Guys, no Turbo.
So we
Sensitive.
got number 1 Polaris, number 2 Can-Am BRP, number 3 Honda, 4 Yamaha.
Goodness.
Oh, OEM outlook with Risk, Kawasaki, CF Moto, Arctic Cat. Oh, come on,
I got some
Turbo.
beef with Turbo.
Come on, Turbo.
All right. Let's start with the top one. So I want to, if you guys are okay, I'm gonna touch on the first one, and then I'm gonna touch on the ones with Risk.
Yeah.
So scroll up a little bit for me. The question was again, which OEMs have the most promising outlook for 2026? Overall, the industry isn't a flat line anymore. It's segmented. Some OEMs are positioned better than others because of product relevance, dealer network strength, perception, loyalty, pipeline, cross-category portfolio. Here's how it looks from a market realist POV. The number 1 brand that Turbo says has the best outlook is Polaris. Here's why he's right.
Well, he's wrong. He is wrong because he says strong UTV lineup with Defender, XP, and Kinetic. We all know a Defender is not a Polaris.
Here's
Come
why
on,
you
Turbo.
cannot blatantly.
Yes, 100%.
Here's why you cannot blatantly trust the AI. Yet.
Defender, right there.
Yet. His concept is not.
We
that,
love you, Turbo, but not on this one.
his concept is not that far off, in the sense of they have a broad category coverage in terms
But
of.
God, they could have said Ranger instead of Defender. Jesus Christ.
You can correct him and he'll say he's sorry. I promise.
I don't care if you're sorry. Bitch, don't be sorry. Be right.
Strong UTV lineup. He said Defender XP Kinetic. What he really meant was Ranger XP Kinetic. He's wrong on the Kinetic no matter what. What?
Yes and no. I think we have a very skewed perspective of this Kinetic, but it'd also be very interesting to do some market research on it and see if it's right or wrong. Because all we know is what we see
Now, that's
where
a good
we're
question.
at.
That's a good question.
I'm telling you, if you buy Kinetics, you get 5 nights free at the Ritz.
Whoa, is that a promise?
Well, I'm gonna go buy one right now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we've got some contradictory statements here. Broad category coverage, yes. Ranger, Sportsman, they're good with the youth All of that is very true.
There's plenty of inventory out there. That's for damn sure.
Dealer relationships remain strong. Here's where I would have said 3 months ago, you're wrong. Here's why today I say he's probably right. And that's because I think Polaris is the most in tune with what's like. I think they're responding the best to what the market is giving them. First indicator, sold off Indian. Stick with what you're good at. They're great at off-road. Stick with what you're good at. I don't know how far Slingshot is behind Indian because the three-wheel market is a
Different beast.
Yeah, different beast. So
I disagree.
Second thing, relationships. I pestered the piss out of our Polaris rep about these pilot programs. What did he do?
He did get it. Shout out Bennett.
Shout out
we love
Bennett.
you. Thank you.
I actually invited Bennett to come on the podcast because I think it would be interesting to have a rep.
That would be really cool.
Let's do that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And so, like, my point is that one, they have pilot programs which we participate in, which I think is a great idea. Two, they extended those pilot programs.
What is a pilot program?
Pilot program is, for example, PFED. If you're a Polaris dealer, you know what PFED
Plan
is.
for every dealer.
Plan for every dealer. They make you sign up for it. Well, what they did last year was they started a pilot program where they allowed dealers to say, okay, here's your PFED spend. You go and spend it with an agency, or even if you have an in-house marketer, you guys go and spend it on your own. We want to track it. We want to see it. We want to see the results. We'll compare them. The reason that they extended this program for another year is because across the board, the pilot program outperformed the PFED results. No questions asked. It's not just us. Yes, we're the best, but I'll just be honest with you. Not just us is participating in these pilot programs. There's 100 different agencies. It's not close in the results. So what that tells me is Polaris is listening to what their dealers are saying, what their research is telling them, and what the market is telling them, which is essentially regional marketing works better than national template shit. So, thumbs up on Turbo for dealer relationships with Polaris. I think that's trending in the right direction. Good momentum in accessories or service. Don't, and maybe I'm not educated enough to in those departments to speak on this. Don't know that that's 100% true. The reality is Polaris is a big boy. They're going to be strong no matter what. They're also responding to what the market is telling them, which inevitably probably puts them at the top of this list.
Right.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
So not that they don't have weaknesses that could drag them down. And I have, when we get to number 3 here, I have real issues with number 3. But number 1 and number 2, I'm pretty confident that he's hitting it on the head with.
Yeah.
So why don't
I would agree with that. I think if you actually look at your financials as a dealer and you're a multi-line dealer and you break out what you sell in Polaris in terms of revenue and profit, you're probably going to see that Polaris is the highest revenue driver and probably the most profitable, even though it doesn't feel that way, in your dealership. And if you were to get rid of them,
you would hurt.
You would hurt.
You would hurt.
You'd hurt.
Mr. BRP, number 2.
So, BRP, Can-Am, number 2. Why they're strong. Premium positioning, I would agree with that. Loyal customer base, 100% agree with that. Large Powersports footprint and excellent product depth in both ATV and UTV. Says BRP also has Sea-Doo momentum that lifts the whole brand, which matters when you talk OEM health. I would 100% agree with that. As far as I'm concerned, I think BRP should be at the top of this list because I also think that their dealer relationships are stronger than Polaris. Because when I talk to anybody in Polaris versus BRP, I feel, this is a feel thing for me, I feel like I'm heard as a dealer with BRP more than I am Polaris. And that's because when I talk to somebody with Polaris, I get some rebuttal that seems very well rehearsed of why I'm either wrong or how their positioning is better than any other OEM.
I agree with you 100% from an operator cap. I want you to take your operator cap off and put your marketing hat on.
As far as what?
And then tell me if that is in the right order, Polaris to BRP or BRP to Polaris.
Well, I mean, it's hard for me to take the operator hat off because as an operator or an owner, I'm looking at profitability.
Yeah.
Right? And it's clear. It has been 100% clear by our composite data that our BRP stores are more profitable and have higher profit margins than Polaris.
That's a given. Fact.
It's a given. And I think everybody listening will agree with that. So I don't know. I mean, it's hard because this is just an opinion.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion. Is I think these two should be flipped. But does Polaris have a higher market share? Yes.
Yeah. But
Do they have higher revenue numbers? Yes. Do they have more dealers? Absolutely.
You know what's the
They
most true
do.
statement? The BRP customer is way more loyal
100%.
because here's some controversy. The product is better.
I would disagree with that. I would disagree.
But what's funny about this is you know me.
Yeah.
I'd rather ride a Razor than a Maverick
Yeah.
all day long.
I was a Polaris guy for years.
I'm a Polaris guy still to this day.
yeah.
But when I strap into a Defender Limited, something about it feels.
Well, I would agree with that now that they come out with the HD11.
Maybe that's
the
it.
HD10s.
Not
Take
it.
a North Star all day long.
Yeah.
It was clunky. It was old. It needed to be redone years ago. So I think BRP has come a long way with that. But I think as far as the customer loyalty, I think BRP and exactly what old Turbo says here, premium positioning. When Polaris as a manufacturer is pushing their dealers to be discount dealers, they are positioning themselves as the price point manufacturer in the industry.
We know this out of lived experience, and this has always been a fan. While we're a fan of BRP, is there's a dealer that will not take BRP because they know what that dealer's going to do with them.
Right. The BRP will not give.
They won't devalue.
They
their
won't
product.
devalue their product, and
Which
I
is
think
great.
that's huge. That's huge. As far as long term, I think BRP is going to start pushing on Polaris really hard, and they already are. But it's because they're not devaluing their brand.
Well, I think you have to look at this in two different ways depending on how you like to operate. Number of units, Polaris. Money, BRP.
yeah.
know
Well,
what I mean?
as Mr. Steve Quinlan, if you're listening, as Steve Quinlan always says, volume
Comes with gross.
comes with volume comes gross.
Okay.
So I would agree with that. You sell more Polarises, you got to do it at a discount. But the more you sell, the more you're going to make.
Yeah.
Which is the shitty place to put a dealer, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it is. It is. And
Because with rising cost of staff, with rising cost of insurance, floor plan, and eroding margins, that's a terrible place to put a dealer.
when we talk about dealer relations, isn't that funny how like and for each of these OEMs, one of them has a really like Polaris's marketing stuff has been really strong lately in terms of their dealer relations, but their pricing and availability has been counterintuitive to like what dealers want. Whereas BRP has went the opposite way.
Right. I'm going to give you more of the stuff that you're selling.
But you're not going to get and maybe they will, but they don't give us the freedom that Polaris has started. And maybe they will, like I said. But they may just be, the reality is they may just be trying to protect that premium positioning.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe that's why they haven't given up the range yet on pilot programs, on things that is not, OEM created.
As a dealership owner of a group that's looking to expand, I'm not going to lie. I don't care whether you have Can-Am or whether you have Polaris. If you have one of these two top brands, we're in. I'm not trying to rag on either brand or Polaris specifically. I love them. I will take any dealership that sells Polaris because I know they have revenue.
Absolutely.
And I know they have customers, which is what I need.
As a new guy, I just want to make one observation with this. I don't think that there are quite as many yet customers that identify the brand with who they are. And I say this because it's far too often that I'm hanging out outside of work with people, right? This snowstorm actually showed me something. I ended up at a bar, right? That was pretty much only accessible in this storm if you had a side-by-side to get there. When people were coming into the bar, they weren't saying, yeah, I had to bring the Polaris out, or yeah, I had to bring the Can-Am out. They were saying, yeah, we had to get in the side-by-side.
Yeah. True.
Right?
So, it's a community, that's for sure.
So I guess to my point, what I like about BRP is I think that they're starting with their strategy, they're starting to push towards that identity.
Yeah.
Where they're trying to push people more to be the group of people that don't say, yeah, I broke the side-by-side out. They're trying to push that group and community to say, yeah, had to crank the Can-Am up this morning and bring it
Well,
up.
think about these two
That's
things.
powerful.
Yeah, oh, it is. Think about these two things. You don't ever hear somebody go, I'm going to go get a soda.
I'm going to get a Coke Zero.
I'm going to go get
Very
a
rare.
Coca-Cola. I'm going to go get a Coke, or I'm going to get a Pepsi.
Brand
And
identity.
Typically, people don't go, I'm going to go get a coffee. What do I say? What am I going to go get?
Starbucks.
Bucks.
I'm going to go get a Starbucks.
I'm going to get a Bucks, baby.
Right? So they're trying to make their name synonymous with when you think UTV, you think Can-Am. And I think Polaris is probably trying to do the same thing in a different way.
Yeah. But here's where it gets squirrely. Number 3 on this list does a better job than all of them. Because a motherfucker that rides red forever.
He bleeds red, bro.
Forever. So,
I got a Honda Rancher.
number 3, Honda. The oldie but goodie. And the first thing the Turbo says, legendary reliability reputation. That's true. These
It's on
motherfuckers.
point.
Bulletproof. Okay,
Yeah.
you can't break it. Not even if you tried. I don't agree with the ranking here. And if you guys are okay, I'll speak on Honda, and then we'll talk about some of the other stuff. What percentage of new riders, when we're talking about our new customer segment, how many of them are attracted to Honda outside of so if I exclude Honda's best products, their ATV, and it always will be, and they'll be the best selling ATV in the industry for as long as they're around.
Yeah.
Their side by side product, they're
old.
They're old,
Yeah, it's clunky.
clunky,
Yep.
and
That's what customers say as well.
I get why they do it. It's shaft driven. You don't have any belts. I get it, but
BRP and Polaris both have proven that nobody gives a shit.
nobody gives a shit, except for who? You motherfuckers that ride red and bleed red and will never buy anything else.
It's a part of your identity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that when we're talking about identity, like Honda has the best.
Yeah.
Outside of like your Yamaha motocross racers and your Cowie, your KX guys, like in terms of like an entire line, Honda does the best with like if the first machine that you buy is a Honda, guess what? The second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the last machine you buy is a Honda.
Yeah.
Right. That's a given. Their problem is it's the same with Yamaha, is that they have not advanced with the times. And look at Suzuki. Let's take Suzuki for example.
Suzuki didn't even make it on the list,
Suzuki
bro.
still has a
Where
great.
you
I
at?
don't even think Suzuki is. It's literally not
Yeah,
even
they
on
put
the
fucking
list.
Arctic Cat above Suzuki. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Where they at?
yeah. All right. So let's look at Suzuki and what happened with Suzuki. Suzuki still has a really great on-road product. Their Gixxers are some of the best-selling street
Yes.
bikes in the world. Okay, fantastic on-road product. Even their motocross bikes, the RXs, are still prevalent.
RMs.
Or RMs. But when
You
you
don't
look
even
at,
know.
when you're excuse me,
I didn't either.
when you look at the King Quad, who buys a King Quad? Exactly.
Price shoppers.
It fucking
Yeah.
my point exactly.
Yeah,
And
there's a place for them in the market.
there
but
Yeah.
absolutely is. But
Yeah.
what I'm trying to get at is if Honda and even Yamaha, if they do not, the RMAX has not been updated since I was a salesperson 5 years ago. It's the same unit with a different paint scheme. If you do not catch up with the times, you're going down the Suzuki route of, and that's where Yamaha is the perfect example because their motocross bikes are, in my opinion, best in the world. Right?
Yamaha.
Yamaha.
Yeah.
Their motocross bikes are the best in the world. Their street line, their on-road line, probably close to the best in the world in terms of the Rs, the MTs, the Nakeds. Like, in terms of volume, probably pretty close.
There's a different side of that though, because if you look at their marine segment, there's probably 5 to 10 major boat manufacturers that now only will put Suzuki outboards
Different
on there.
Well,
It's a different.
I mean,
it's the
it
same
makes
company.
you wonder, like, what are they focusing on?
What are they
That's
focused on?
and that's
Yeah.
why
Is
I'm
my
bringing this.
point.
That's why
Yeah.
I'm bringing this up. Is
I mean, you
because
talk about the top two here. What's
making a boom in
BRP
that
and
market.
Polaris focused on?
Again, Polaris just sold off Indian.
Yeah.
Don't want it.
Yeah.
Give it to somebody who does this. And I don't think, I don't know about Slingshot. Maybe they hold on to that. But my assumption would be Slingshot's probably not that far behind because
I don't think so.
Maybe, but the reality is the three-wheel market's a mature market. It's not growing anymore. You got the same customers, and then when people turn 60, that's what they do, and that's great. You know,
Easy now.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. We don't appreciate those customers any less than we appreciate any others. But when we're talking about like market share as a whole, it's not something that you can rely on to give your dealership a boost in revenue and unit sales. It is what it is, right? But whereas Yamaha has this, you're still in the, like, they have such a strong reputation as a brand in all of these other segments, watercraft, motocross, on road, that I can guarantee that if they would just put a little focus on their off-road product to get it up to speed, I think that they would be competitive.
The question is how much money and how much time are they going to spend trying to catch up to BRP and Polaris?
Valid.
Right?
The answer is right below that.
Well, okay, let me make this point. This was told to me probably 10 years ago by a guy that's been in the industry for a long time. He said, when you look at Honda, Honda is this big, massive battleship or this big, massive cargo plane.
Fleet of ships.
No, it's a big, massive ship. So the point is, for them to change their trajectory as a ship and do a 180, how long does that take?
Takes a long time.
Takes a long time, right? So they're not going to change what they're doing very quickly, which is why their UTV products, which is the new hottest thing in our industry, has not changed.
They're coming.
a great point.
They're coming out with a cab unit this year on the Pioneer. And I'm curious to see how it does.
It's going to be like a Ridge.
Yeah. But the example to this is right below both of these, which is Kawasaki, who has had actually the best, I think the second best year out of any of these OEMs this year. And here's why. What has Kawasaki done? Even though they've missed, they've
invested a shitload of money.
And they've missed.
They've missed.
The Ridge missed, regardless or not whether you're selling them. It took them offering a $4,000 rebate on the Ridges for them to get them moving.
Yeah.
So they missed on the price point.
They had to pay people to sell them.
Exactly. They missed on the price point, but they never stopped innovating. The H2, as much as like I know that for a particular type of riding, you're never going to get to use the H2 for what it's for. But I tell you what, I got in one the other day. You understand like the excitement about it. So if this were my list, I'd probably take Cowie, bump it up to 3, and then we get to my personal favorite, which is old CF Moto. The growth that they've experienced is explosive, almost grown too fast for their own good.
It has, because they cannot suffice the dealers with their inventory.
Correct. Their
It's the
product
same
is
thing that
too
we're
popular.
we're running up against that, trying to even get them in one of our stores.
Correct.
That's a good problem.
Even though we're an open point for CF Moto, we cannot get them because they don't have enough product to ship to the dealers that already have ordered it.
It's a good problem, consumer. You know where it's not a good problem? Dealer relations.
Yeah.
Because
For sure.
you've got dealers
For
who
sure.
are relying on that as a revenue source.
Yeah.
And when you're forcing them onto orders where they haven't even received everything from their, and that's not unusual, and like everybody does it, but when you have such a high demand for a specific product, your dealers are filling that demand, asking for more,
Yeah.
not getting it, and then also you're forcing them to order more, and they're also not getting it. Your dealer relation can start to spiral really quick.
But what's the balance in that as far as supply and demand goes? Because we experienced this during COVID when supply exceeded demand, and then now we're all complaining that we have too much supply for the demand. So as far as I'm concerned, CF Moto is actually doing the right thing. They're keeping the margins up on these things.
Consumer wise, absolutely 100%. And the dealers who understand that are probably not as hard on their relationship with CF Moto as the dealers who maybe don't understand that, who just need an additional 5 units this month.
Yeah.
And wish they had it.
One of the most important things that you can do, period, is keep a high margin on an affordable product. If you can keep a high margin on something that everybody can attain, you're winning.
You're winning. Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, if they can fix their inventory problem, that brand right there will be at the top of this list next year.
That's literally the cake where you can have your cake and you can eat it. you can eat
Well,
it too.
my thing is this whole cake and have it and eat it too. Like, if you buy a cake, what the
eating
fuck
that
are you
shit.
going to do with
I
that
don't
cake?
know. Why does
I'm
my
gonna
wife
eat it too?
Why
right?
Why does my wife buy candles that are just meant to look at, not burn?
Bro. All right, so we've reviewed some OEMs. Let's talk about what you can do to be successful in 2026. So, B, what's the question?
All right. So, what are the top 3 things that a dealer can do to outperform its competition in 2026?
So, we're talking about your neighbor, the one that's 20 miles away from you. We're talking about your blowout dealer that's in the next state, but you get price shopped against every other day. So we're talking about some things that you can do to be better than those people. And I'm going to go ahead and give you
Oh, these are good.
a big fact.
Come on with it.
It ain't just price, dog. It ain't just price.
Much
It
more
ain't
than
price. I'm telling you.
All right, let me do a little reading here, and then we split these topics up, boys. Top 3 things. Let's all take one topic. How's that sound? Sound good? Great. Make buying stupidly easy. Most dealers still make customers work too hard. The winners in 2026 will clear pricing, fast responses, financing clarity, simple next steps. Number 2, stop chasing more leads. Convert the ones you have. Turbo, yes. Dealers don't have a lead problem. They have a follow-up discipline problem.
Oh,
That's-
turbo on
That is the
point.
truth.
Outperform dealers, touch customers 8 to 12 times. Call fast, text smart, don't behind forms. Treat phone calls like gold, not interruptions.
Oh, this is a whole leadership meeting.
Sell
buddy.
here's the best one, ladies and gentlemen. Number 3, sell the experience, not just the unit. In a market where everyone has inventory, similar pricing, experience wins. White glove delivery, remote buying options, honest timelines,
Oh, look at us.
confidence, not pressure.
All right, so I'm going to take number 1.
Okay, great.
Make buying stupidly easy.
I love that it put stupidly in there.
Stupidly. Haha, it's funny. So I think that we do. Like, we have this process and we think, okay, we're going to put the customer through our process and, we're going to have control. But the reality is, what I've learned is that transparency in this day and age, especially this year, is the new currency, right? So
Completely.
it says clear pricing, no mystery fees. Let's highlight mystery, okay? That does not mean that you don't have to have no fees. Just disclose it. Stop getting people to walk through your door and then smacking them in the face with freight and setup. Yes, we all want to make freight and setup. Trust me, we charge a bunch of it. But we are very clear going into a deal of what we charge.
Here's one thing that I love about the advertising portion of this section. Honda, as much as they are the most strict, when you run an ad on Honda products, they make you disclose the freight charge that they have on their website.
Yeah.
So the reality is like that should probably be incorporated into everything that we do.
Yeah.
It should not be a mystery or a surprise.
The manufacturers have known this has been a problem for a long time.
Yeah. All right. So clear pricing, no mystery fees, fast response. This is something that we have preached for years, even back in COVID, about the fast response. Like, the person that gets back to these people the quickest wins the deal.
Hell, it's how we shaped our conversion goals.
Yeah, 100%. What you think about, okay, most people work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. When do they shop?
After work.
After work. So if you're one of the dealers that respond to this person promptly as a person, not AI, during that time where they are thinking about buying and not send them an automated response the next day, who are they talking to? Like, if I'm shopping for a boat, right? And I'm shopping for a boat at 9 o'clock at night because that's after I put my son to bed and I've cleaned up dinner and I'm finally sitting on the couch and I'm finally able to shop for the thing that I, as a man or woman, wants the most in my life. And I send in an inquiry to a dealer. And within 5 or 10 minutes, while my attention is on that product, they send me a text back. Guess who I'm talking to?
Yep. I'm about to give you some gold here. When I talked about how we shape our conversions, I made a LinkedIn post a couple weeks ago. You can go check it out. Does your advertising line up with what is the actual hottest lead. Because, yes, most people work 9 to 5, so they're submitting lead forms after hours. But if I get a hitch in the middle of the day and I just want quick information, what do? I call the dealership.
Right.
I call the dealership.
Yeah.
So where is your prioritization in terms of what do you want the most?
Yeah.
Because you absolutely, in case you were wondering, you absolutely can prioritize that guy calling you in the middle of the day over him submitting a lead at 9 p.m.
Yeah, because yeah.
And you have to do that with the idea in mind that most people who submit lead forms are submitting them after hours, man, and you're not going to get them until the next morning. And by that time,
they've already went to sleep. They've woken up.
The wife has
Correct.
talked him out of it. He realizes he's got 3 kids. He's thinking about the payment option.
He's not even thinking about that. If I'm thinking about my day after 9 p.m. and I looked at that boat or that UTV or whatever the hell it is, I go to sleep. I wake up at 5, 6, 7.
Not even on my mind.
It's not even on my mind. I'm worried about, okay, what do I got to do today? Do I need to go grocery shopping? Do I need to get my kid ready for school? Do I need to help my wife get out of the house? Do I need to, get my kid to the nanny or daycare, whatever the hell it is? After that point, I'm not even thinking about it. So if you text me at 10 a.m. and say, hey, saw you put in a lead last night, wanted to know what information I could get you on that XYZ thing, I'm not even going to respond.
Leave me alone. I'm working.
Yeah, leave me alone.
I'm working.
So, I mean, even for us as an organization, as PowerMax, I think that's something we should think about. Who is in charge after hours on what day to handle those leads?
Well,
okay, yeah, you don't want to respond after 11 p.m. to the guy that's been up
Correct.
and has 4 cocktails and is shopping for a UTV and blah, blah, blah. Like, sure, there's a limit to this. But I think there's gold in the fact of thinking, yes, we as dealers, we do work 8:30 to 5 or 6 or 9 to 6 or whatever your hours are. But the people that are shopping for our product are shopping when they get off work. Who's responding to them? Really?
Well, I've got a dealer who goes out of his way to have salespeople work deals after hours. And here's how dedicated he is. Because he doesn't ask his salespeople to do it, he's actually responding to the leads after hours. But there's a way to fix this. They're not fix it because we still want those submissions, right? We still want those things.
Sure. But it's leads.
Yeah.
We'll take the leads.
The way to fix it is to prioritize what we're going to be able to work, which is the guy that's shopping right now.
So to your point, during the day, if you have a customer on the floor or a phone call, that lead is more important
Highest priority.
than the guy that just submitted a lead online during his lunch break.
And my salespeople know what I'm talking about. If you're sitting in the showroom at 10:30 in the morning and you've got 6 leads to call, but there's a customer on the showroom or there's a phone ringing, what do you do first?
Right. So fast response, like regardless of the time. Okay, let's think about the lead that we have, whether that's an online lead at 9 p.m., a customer on the floor at 9 a.m., or a phone call at 11 a.m. or 12 p.m.
You better get to it.
You better get to it, and you better figure out a way to handle it fast.
Correct.
Minutes, not hours. Okay, financing clarity. To me as a buyer, I want to know how much money do I need to come out of pocket right now as a down payment, and what is this thing going to cost me per month? Too many of us dealers focus on giving the best price. We want to give the best deal. This thing is MSRP for $26,999. How cheap can I buy it? Or how cheap can I sell it? And the reality is, yes, that might be something a cash customer is looking at. But if we look at the industry as a whole, if you take in consideration the amount of people that go to a bank and bring you a bank check, 80% of people are financing these things. 80%, easy. 80% are financing these things. So we as dealers prioritize by the pressure of the manufacturer too much, given the best price. Okay, so we need clarity on financing, regardless if you're getting it through our dealership or through your own bank. There needs to be clarity on that. And then simple next steps. Okay, I get through it. I get my best price. Okay, what comes next? Are we even presenting that option anymore? Are we getting to the point in the sales cycle where you say, okay, I've got a deal. What's next?
Read that last line for me.
If a customer has to ask how to buy from you, you've already true. Yeah, you've already lost. If a customer has to ask how to buy from you, you've already lost.
Correct.
So
True.
Turbo, speaking facts.
I'm
Yeah.
going to just say one quick thing on this. The majority of the place that we as dealers lose that momentum, which is all this whole conversation is about momentum. Where we lose that momentum is we don't ask the very simple question, which is, Mr. Customer, Brandon, how do you plan to purchase whatever unit you buy? I've not even got to the unit selection yet. You could have. I don't even need to get there yet. How do you plan on purchasing your unit? If we don't start with that early in the process, we don't know.
True.
Because I'll tell you this, even 50% of the customers that tell you I'm paying cash are coming in with a check from their bank that they're making payments on.
Mm-hmm.
They've already got a loan worked out through their own bank.
Their own bank.
Their own bank. And I've had to coach salespeople for years. Oh, they're paying cash. So they're going to bring us bills or they're bringing us a check? I don't know. He just said he was paying cash.
Yeah.
Because
Greenbacks or a check from the bank.
Because we all know as it's a bluff as a customer, right?
I'm paying cash.
I'm paying cash because they feel like that gives them leverage. Yeah. Well, the reality is cash isn't always cash. What they're saying cash and what we perceive as cash a lot of times is two totally different things. Yep. So if you don't open, if that's not a part of your sales process, please, dear God, make that one switch change. That one light switch will change your whole program.
You know what that is? That's a little bit of my wonderful automotive guy poking through.
Yeah. Well, he's right, because how many people tell you they're paying cash, and if you dig a little bit deeper, you find out this guy has taken money out of his IRA to convert it to cash to pay for this thing, or this guy has a relationship with said credit union. And he knows, man, I've made all my payments to this credit union. I've got good faith with this credit union. They'll give me, state employees credit union will give me whatever I want. So they're telling salesman or sales manager, I got cash. But the reality is they are getting lending from somewhere.
Yep.
It's just not you.
There's a difference between a cashier's check and a bank check.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's also a soft close. I'm not trying to get too minute here. You can soft close a customer before you even know what the hell they're going to buy.
If
by
you soft close them, do you have to talk like this?
Yes. Well, I'm just trying to vary the tone. But it is real. It is real, because if they tell you how they're planning to purchase, that means they have a plan to purchase.
Yep. You can discover intent before.
Damn. Let's take it down to kindergarten.
So make buying stupidly easy.
Question number 2. Perfect. For my guy sitting in the chair. Stop chasing more leads. Converse the ones you have.
Let's talk about the dinosaur ages here, okay?
Okay.
Before we had VDP, before we had internet, before we had any of this stuff.
VDP?
Vehicle detail page.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're a marketing company.
Well, I mean, I don't know what it means.
You're right.
Yeah, that's true. It's a valid question.
I will say that
before we had any of this information, we had a much, much smaller quantity of leads that came into any industry, because we had guys that had shoe boxes full of little pages that had customers' information, and the only way that you had a lead was somebody had to physically pick up a phone and call you and say, hey, Jim Bob, I'm looking for this, and you'd write it down and you'd store it in your box, right? Those boxes were worked 5 times as hard is the technology that we have now, because they knew that inside that shoebox there was gold. They just had to find it. And they could take that box and they could shake that thing up and they could throw it across the table, and they knew all they had to do was work through all the no's to find a yes in that small number. We have been lulled into a false sense of security with the number of leads that we can generate with the technology that we have, including AI, including internet, including Facebook and all the social media. And I'll say this, and this is quite literally it's the most literal thing that I can say. The sense of security and number of leads is a false sense of security. And I think that's why this is so on point, because if you take those leads and you don't work every single one of those leads like it's the only lead that you're going to get,
You'll miss it.
you're going to miss it because somebody else randomly selected that lead, and that is the only lead that they got.
Well, think about this, where it says touch customers 8 to 12 times. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean
8 to 12 calls.
that we as one dealership need to touch that customer 8 to 12 times. That customer needs to be touched 8 to 12 times from somebody. So if we hit them on, if they're going to buy on touch number 10 and we hit them at 3, and 3 is the only touch we make, we have no chance of closing that customer at 10 because we never made the touch.
Correct. Here's an advertising perspective on this. When I go through our month-end review calls, I'll show people our reach and impressions, and dealers don't care a lot about it, but I try to make them understand that I want a 3 times multiple on my reach versus impressions. Why? Because I want 3 touches before they ever touch your sales team. I want them to be so familiar with us. I want them to see our ad. Somebody should see our ad at least 3 times, or different versions of our advertisement 3 times before they ever speak to somebody. Because then I can get my sales guys to carry out the next 3. I can get automation.
And they're at 6.
And then they're at 6.
Automation gets them at 9.
10. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so it's a matter of, no, I do not. The reality is I don't expect my guys to call an individual lead 8 to 12 times. Why? Because I've worked as a salesperson. Ain't no chance in hell I'm calling a single lead that has not answered me 8 times. It's not going to happen. So what can you do to mitigate that? 1, get as many touches with your forefront as possible, meaning advertising. Use awareness. Get 3 touches in before they ever speak to you, before they ever walk in your door. We talked about this on our Garage Cast episode. You know what we're doing with those 3 touches? We're breaking down that first wall of trust.
Becoming familiar.
We're building rapport without ever speaking.
Bumping elbows.
Exactly. We're rubbing elbows with them. Come and get to know us. And then when they get into the store, our percentage of the
friction,
the likelihood that we can create here's the real trick. A one-touch close is much higher because it's not actually a one-touch close. They've been hit 3 times already before they walk into the dealership. Yeah.
Extremely rare.
Exactly. So that 8 to 12 times, if you're expecting your sales team to get to 8 to 12 times by themselves, you're wrong. It's never going to happen. As a salesperson, I can tell you that it's never going to happen. Why? Because people are so obsessed with lead numbers that we'll just pump in more leads.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, I hate to say this, and this is going to come very harsh, but we're lazy.
Yeah.
Truth.
Right? Like there's an old sales guy, he is now since retired, that used to work for us at one of our dealerships, and his old school mentality is he would call these leads so many times. Like, to the point I'm like, dude, stop calling this guy. Like, you have brought this guy to me 15 times. And I used to get upset about it, but now I'm like, oh, shit.
Wish I could duplicate that.
Yeah, wish I could duplicate that guy.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's all he ever knew.
It's all he ever knew because you know what? He had the shoebox. Mm-hmm. He had been around so long. He had the shoebox.
He had the box.
And he was digging for that freaking gold.
Yep.
And we don't do that anymore because we, as a marketing company, we pump leads to a dealership. And now salespeople and sales managers and operators think, well, we'll just get more leads. Yep. We'll just get more leads. Well, how many of these people are you cycling through? How many people are going to other dealerships? I hate to tell you, but if you get 500 leads a month,
400 of them have touched somebody else.
400 has touched somebody else. They're gonna buy, whether it be now or in 90 days. They're gonna buy.
How long can you carry the torch? Is the question.
That's right.
How long can you carry the torch?
Yeah. So to talk about follow-up process, I think follow-up process is gold. And Grant Cardone, love him or hate him, that's what he has said for years. The gold is in the follow-up.
And it's not, to expand on that, it's not just that I've called this guy 10 times. Because I see this a ton. I'll go through the records, right? And we require a certain amount of outbound a day, and like everybody should, but if you're not good at managing that process, if I've got a salesperson that's only calling people between the hours of 8:30 and 9:30, and that's what their outbound is, we're missing the process.
Yeah.
Because to our points, we work the same hours that most of our customers do. If our customer has a job where he can't be on their phone, guess what? There are jobs that require people not to be on their phone.
Really?
Holy crap!
They must not work in our dealerships.
And you're calling them the same time Monday. You call them the same time Tuesday. You call them the same time Wednesday and Thursday and so on. He's still not going to answer your call. And actually, you're gonna seem like spam.
Yeah.
You're gonna seem like spam.
And
And so if you're
very,
not
very good point.
if you're not willing to get creative and have a multi-step process for your follow-up, you're missing the boat. If you don't get him on the phone call at Monday morning at 10 o'clock, don't call him again at Monday morning on 10 o'clock.
Yep.
Don't do it.
This is why Turbo's third point is it might be the most factual thing. You better treat your inbound phone calls during working hours like gold.
Stop doing follow-up when it's convenient for you and do it when it works for your customer.
Oh, trademark that shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's powerful.
Did somebody write that down?
Somebody better write it down.
That might have been one of the better things I've ever
I
said.
wrote that down.
Don't do it when it works for you. Do it when it works for them.
That's
and
right.
how it works for them.
Turbo says treat phone calls like gold, not interruptions. Because you want to know why? If a customer is taking time out of his 9 to 5 to call you, guess what? You've got a buyer. You got a buyer, and you better be good enough on the phone to convert it right then and right there. Whether it's an appointment set, whether it's a service schedule, whether it's do you have this part? You better figure out a way to keep that into
Keep his excitement and momentum moving forward.
Because if he's taking the time out of he or she or they or whoever is taking the time out of their day, most people work 9 to 5. So if they're taking the time out of their day to actually make a phone call, here's why we prioritize phone calls in store business. The intent is
High.
way high.
Yeah.
Way high.
Better work him.
You better work him.
Better work him good.
You better work him then. You better work him after the phone call ends. You better work him really well when he walks into the store because he values that. He values the interaction with your store enough to take time away from what he knows is putting food on his family's table.
That's right.
Question or answer number 3. This is my favorite one. Sell the experience, not just the unit. Turbo says in a market where everyone has inventory and similar pricing, experience wins, and he has never been more correct. Top dealers, white glove delivery, remote buying options, honest timelines, confidence, not pressure. Okay, couple of things.
People with money don't want the cheapest dealer. They want the least friction. And think about it. We talked about this earlier. The people that are buying these things, and Turbo said it earlier about the top tier buyer. People that are buying these things, these $40,000, $50,000 units, they're not really concerned about saving $1,000. I'm sorry. They're not. Get that out of your fucking heads.
They're not.
They're not.
And just because they're financing doesn't mean they really care about the payment.
Yeah,
either.
they don't.
They're just looking
They
for a
don't.
good
Correct.
option.
It's cheap money. I'm telling you guys, people with money will finance stuff just because they can't borrow money any cheaper.
They
Correct.
could write a check 10 times over for.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, every time.
White glove delivery. I'll debate Turbo on this process, but if your customer wants to deliver, you better find a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
And make it easy.
Well,
make it easy.
when I buy a car or a Tahoe or a truck or whatever the hell it is,
Bring it to me.
dude, I don't want to go to the dealership. I want to call my guy and I want to set everything up. I want to DocuSign the paperwork and I want you to deliver that damn thing to me.
Turbo skipped a step.
I'll
here.
sign it when it gets there, but bring it to me.
What you just said is gold. When I call my guy.
My guy.
Turbo skipped a step here. Do you know how you develop a my guy? Well, you better develop a my guy. You better have good enough things on the outbound to know that when somebody needs a product, that you are their guy. Not because you have the cheapest price, not because you have any piece of select inventory, but because when he buys from you, he knows that this is going to be an easy experience. He doesn't have to hassle. Even if you don't have the best price, he's going to feel like he's getting a, what do we say? I want a good deal.
I want a good deal.
I want a good deal. I don't need the best price. I need a good deal.
Our culture, and I'm taking this directly from the book I'm reading right now, which is Leaders Eat Last. We all want to deal with an alpha. We all want to deal with an alpha. Period. It's ingrained in our nature.
DNA.
It's our chemical build says we want to deal with an alpha. So when you say, we call it my guy, but the reality is I've got people that I view as alphas in industry. I want to deal with the alpha. I want to deal with the guy that's not going to go talk to somebody else or get to some other person that is the alpha. I just want to go straight to the alpha and say, hey, alpha, fix my problem.
Yeah.
My problem is I don't have a damn side-by-side and need one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's our biggest advantage. This is a beautiful way to tie it into the marketing. The reason that people love working with us is because they don't have to go through 4 people to get something done. They call
Period.
me, tell me what they want, it gets done. So
Powerful.
So the white glove delivery is more so of what you said. You better be the guy. You better be the guy that customer knows that they can call for an easy, frictionless experience. And you don't have to have the best price. You have to have the best experience, the frictionless experience.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
Think about, okay, if we're talking about inbound new customers and you get that fresh up or that fresh phone call or that fresh lead, most salespeople, and I'm going to be very candid on this, are acting like little hungry bitches.
They're your betas that are like, I need some of that.
I need a deal. I need the money. I need the deal.
They're not acting like alphas.
They're not acting like alphas. They're not acting like, they don't answer the phone and go, hey, thanks for calling XYZ dealership. What can I help you with? Oh, I'm looking for a 2026 X3. Great. You called the right place. I'm your guy. And then they follow into that process with that confidence.
Yep.
They're calling it, can I get you the best price?
Yeah, correct.
Have you shopped other dealers before?
Yep.
They're chasing customers.
They're fear, and I get it, but like I think you got some gold in what you're saying, and to bring in the alpha point of what you're saying, like there's a lot of things that are going on right now in our industry where people are just succumbing to the pressure.
Yep, folding.
They're folding,
and
the customer is not looking for somebody that's folding. They're looking for confidence. They're looking for, I called the right place, because the reality is, every person, I don't give a damn if it's you, or somebody that is buying a car, when they call somewhere, they want to think in their mind, they called the right place the first time.
I feel confident.
The reality is that almost every customer is going to call 3 dealerships. The question is not always, well, are we the cheapest? Is, do I make the best impression out of the 3? Because if you make the best impression out of the 3, even if you're not the best priced, they'll give you an opportunity
to be the best price
to get there.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I tell my guys. If we're going to charge fees and we're not going to be the cheapest person in the state or much less the country,
you better get that
their
customer
attention.
to bring me a quote.
Yeah,
right? Like
bring me,
give me the swing.
Yeah.
to actually get there, and that's fine, right? But what we will never do is we will never be the best priced. That is a given, and all of you dealers out there who have focused your marketing on being the best priced, guess what? The reality is you're never going to be the best priced.
No, somebody is always going to undercut you. I don't care.
So you better figure out a way that if you know, and I can tell you from the data, I know for a fact that they're going to call 3 dealerships. They're absolutely going to call 3 dealerships. One of those is going to beat you on price no matter what. You better at least get a swing to match that price or beat them with your experience, because they're going to call the 3 no matter what.
Well, and the reality is, if it's a good enough salesperson as in terms of building the best relationship and being the most confident, you get the chance for that customer to say, well, XYZ dealer down the street, give me X price, because you have built the confidence in them to where they feel comfortable telling you
say that.
To say that. And then all of a sudden, holy shit, now I have something to work with.
Here's the opposite side of that, okay? And here's where I think it gets really powerful is customer calls us, we give him a price, but he has such a great experience on the phone or in the store with us that when he calls X dealer, they better have such an incredible discount that the guy's like, bro, I'm going to pay the $200 not to drive 6 hours and deal with whatever I just heard on the phone, right? So it's almost what you're saying in reverse. I promise that if you deliver on the front end, that you won't be the second or third call you will be the first call, and then they will be running your experience, not just your price. Throw the price out the window. they're going to run your experience up against their experience with your blowout dealers.
Yeah.
And that blowout dealer better be so ridiculous money-wise, which they can't be most of the time.
No,
we're not that far off
Yeah.
most of the time, that it better outsell your experience. 90% of the time, it's not going to happen.
That's why if I ever filled a phone call where a customer says that they beat my price by $3,000, my initial response is, I've never lost a deal over price.
Never.
Never.
Never. And like
Right. And if you're a salesperson listening to this, that should be your go-to line when you deal with that is, well, you know what? My sales manager has never lost a deal over price. Let me go see what I can do for you.
matter of fact,
It's a very confident statement.
Implement that in the training because that's gold right there. But that should be the case. We want to be. You can be the standard that people are measuring up against without your price being the measuring stick.
If every part of your outbound communication with the customer doesn't inspire confidence, you're
lost.
gonna lose.
You're lost.
And very short story, customer reaches out to me today. This is live today. This just happened. 4 hours from our dealership. His friend that he's known since high school is a sales manager at a dealership that's an hour from him. He calls that guy first. That guy gives him a price on a unit that, to be honest, is a fair price. But how he spends it to his friend is, I'm giving you a $3,000 discount to get you down to this price. Immediately, the customer's smart enough to say, well, the MSRP is this. I know they're taxed at this. How are you giving me a $3,000 discount and getting me to that price? He lost confidence in the person that he went to high school with.
Yep.
His buddy.
So you know what he does? He calls. Lo and behold, he gets a hold of me. I answer the sales call. And I say, tell me a little bit more about this price. Because if you're being that transparent with me, I'm just going to open my book to you.
Open book.
And he says, he gives me the breakdown. I'm saying, to be honest with you, buddy. And I give him the whole breakdown. It was a 21-minute phone call. And by the end of that 21-minute phone call, his exact words to me were, I like what you're telling me so much more. And I feel so much more he actually used the word confident.
Yeah.
I feel so much more confident in what you're telling me and getting me to the same price on the unit that I want, that I'm going to give you a deposit. The motherfucker give me a deposit over the phone for the unit that I've got at the same price that his buddy that's an hour from him gave him, because of one thing and one thing alone, the confidence that I had and the time I was willing to spend with him on the phone.
You were very transparent with him.
Completely.
So what did I say in the very beginning of this? In 2026, transparency is the new currency.
You know what's crazy? You were in here on this call. I got told something by a dealer today that I'd never been told before, which is, and I want you guys to know that we fall into this trap too of,
As a marketing company.
we're so busy advertising on what's on sale. Can we do some stuff on like what's unique to us and a switch flipped? I was like, you're exactly right. Why are we always so focused on being the having our numbers out there as the best rebate? Blah,
Do
blah,
you
blah.
know why? Because that's what the manufacturers push us to do.
Yep.
Make sure that you get an email from your Polaris rep. From your Polaris rep. Make sure that all of your stuff is priced at MAP.
Here's where I had to check myself in that call. You know me, I run around preaching performance over compliance. Why am I falling into this trap of, well, we need to make sure that our rebate numbers are out there, man. We need to make sure that no, we don't. We need to make sure that we're giving, because I know that these people are going to call, even if you are advertising the best price, that customer is still going to call 3 dealerships just to do some research.
Yep.
It's just part of their process.
The difference between out the door and advertised price, everybody knows there's a difference.
Correct.
Yep.
That's the reality.
And so
that's the
point is,
reality.
I caught myself in a trap today with that dealer of like, damn, I have fell into this trap. Here's how I'm going to get out of it. So for my dealers out there that are listening, this is the most important thing we've talked about all day, because it's the most relevant thing we've talked about all day. Every one of you is thinking about how you can compete with your local or non-local, meaning 4+ hours away dealer that is blowing out units. You compete with them by not looking at price, by looking at experience, because the data will tell you, your industry will tell you. You can go ask Polaris how many phone calls a customer makes before they purchase a unit. It's at least 2, most of the times 3. At least 2, most of the time 3. So how are you going to lead with experience and not price? Because just like you said, if we can establish trust, if we can make it frictionless, if we can say that, yeah, they're saving you this much money. You don't even have to say this. I'm just giving this as an example. But this, and this are what you're getting with us. And it gives them confidence that they're working with somebody who's going to take care, that they're working with an alpha, as you would say. I promise you, it's not even a close comparison.
Yeah,
it's not even a close comparison. So, first off, to wrap this thing up, you guys have anything else before?
Let's just recap this. Number 1, make buying stupidly easy.
Boom.
Number 2, stop chasing more leads. Convert the ones you have. Work on your follow-up. Number 3, sell the experience, not just the unit, aka not just the cheap ass price.
Correct.
Boom.
Correct. So, give me my theme music.
I'm on it, baby.
You guys know I like to end this thing.
Appreciate you guys tuning in.
First off, big shout out to my co-hosts, Brandon Prokupek, Christian Engel. Bigger shout out to our guest for the day,
Turbo!
Mr. Turbo.
ChatGPT.
Trained this thing for 6+ months. He did okay. You know, we had about a 75% accuracy rate here, I would say. So point is, pay attention to what you're using AI for. Compete on experience, not price. Check your OEMs. Develop those relationships. If you didn't like the show, you know how I end this thing. Don't come back. If you did like it, we appreciate it. Tune in next week.